Good evening, I'm Brad Brown.
And I'm Chris Ellis, and welcome to the Beautiful Men Nightly News, the only place to find the most up-to-date news, with a beautiful twist.
Tonight we'll be looking at new political figure, Joe the Plumber.
But first, Barack Obama caught in a clothing scandal with North Korea? Colin Lee reports.
Thanks, Chris. I'm here with North Korean businessman Woo Jong Lee, owner of North Korea Clothing Industries. He has been involved with a scandal with President Barack Obama. How did this whole scandal start?
Well,
as the CEO of Korea Corp, I knew that the United States has a large demand for name brand clothing, and so I decided to open markets here in the States. Unfortunately, President Obama raised import taxes, which greatly diminished my returns. So I did what any North Korean clothing manufacturer would do. I bribed him.
What were the terms of this contract exactly?
그러면 이제 오바마가 나한테 돈을 줘야죠. 북한으로 이제
Well, Obama knew that I was a tough bind, and it was very difficult to convince him. But we worked it out so that I would pay him $100 million a year, and he would veto any bill to raise import taxes.
How did you manage to conceal the money for that long?
그러면 이제 북한으로 가고
This was the most difficult part of the scandal. Basically, Obama opened up an offshore account in the Cayman Islands, and I wired $100 million a year there.
Well, I would definitely have to say that you and President Obama are definitely going to jail now.
그렇지 않죠. 저는 북한에서 나를 도와주고
Well, actually, I am protected by the North Korean government, so, yeah, no jail for me.
I guess with the protection of the North Korean government, you will not be going, but President Obama will. You heard it first here. Back to you, Chris.
Thanks, Colin. You know, I never expected that from our president. I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, I totally agree, Chris. And it's not just you. In fact, a recent Gallup poll indicates that public trust of government officials has decreased by 30% in the last 2 minutes as a result of this scandal.
Not surprising either. But on a more positive note for the government, do you remember Joe the Plumber?
The person who asked the question at the presidential debate 4 years ago?
Yeah. Apparently, as a result of the media attention he received, he's now running for office. Daniel Huang's on the scene.
Thanks, Chris. I'm here with Samuel Joseph Wurzelbacher, more commonly known as Joe the Plumber, and he's now running for Senate here in District 12 of Ohio. So tell me, Sam, what prompted you to run for office?
Well, you know, Dan, when I received all that media attention 4 years ago, it just really showed me that I can be a voice. You know, I have a big voice, and that not only that, I found out that the average American, they're just like me. They have the same problems that I have. So, you know, taking that into consideration, I thought, who better to represent the average American than the average American? So I decided to run for office.
And what is a major issue you want to change in Senate?
Clothes. I mean, look at the suits in Senate. Like, come on. You know, you make that much money and you're getting your suit from a thrift shop? So that's why I'd like to propose a bill that requires any member of Senate to have a Gucci suit.
But how do you think that will affect the country?
Well, there's really two main reasons. First, jobs, 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 jobs. You know, people talk about it all the time. If everyone in Senate has to wear a Gucci suit, the demand for Gucci is going to increase in America. Now, Gucci, they're going to have a factory or two in America, and that's going to create 12 million jobs for Americans. Then, secondly, is the economy. Let's take a look at C-SPAN. Everyone on there is dressed poorly. You know, there's a low interest. But if everyone's wearing a Gucci suit, interest increases. And after that, people want to have to buy more television so they can watch C-SPAN or get cable packages for C-SPAN, and that's definitely going to boost the economy.
Wow, you have some very radical ideas, Sam. But I'm sure with this help of our news agency, your political career will be well taken care of. Thanks for your time. You heard it, folks. Joe the Plumber is running for Senate here in District 12. Back to you, Brad.
Thanks, Dan. You know, for someone who is advocating style in Senate, he himself isn't very well dressed.
Agreed. But hey, he's running on the platform of change, so I'm sure with his election, he himself will change as well.
Coming up, will we jump over the fiscal cliff? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Brian, you guys are 1-5 over the last 6 games. You're 4 games under 500. This is not what everybody expected from the Los Angeles Lakers. What on earth is going on?
We're playing just terrible basketball. I mean, it seems like, you know, we're 4 games under 500, but it seems more than that, just because of the way that we've been playing.
Why? I mean, how do you explain the way that y'all have been playing?
You can make a lot of excuses. There's a lot of them to be made.
But what it really comes down to is that none of us voted.
Welcome back to the Beautiful Men Nightly News.
Up next, we have Colin Lee reporting on the fiscal cliff. Over to you, Colin.
Thanks, Brad. Here with me now is Lee Jong-hao, lead economist for the United States, and he's here to talk about the unresolved fiscal cliff. So tell me, how are the impending budget cuts going to affect the fashion industry?
You'll definitely see a drop in the purchasing of high-brand clothing. If these cuts put us into another recession, spending is going to drop from customers.
Do you think any particular companies are going to suffer?
Companies that cater more to the middle class are going to suffer. J.Crew or Banana Republic, for example. As the middle class spends less, these more expensive outlets are going to lose clients for cheaper options.
Thank you, Mr. Howe, for your insight on this troubling problem.
Don't you want to know about its effect on other industries or government?
We only focus on beauty. Back to the studio.
Thanks, Colin. Well, let's just hope our politicians can figure out a deal. For all of our sakes.
Agreed, Chris. Up next, we have a feature story by Daniel Huang discussing the dangers of consuming snow.
Thanks, Brad. Walking around outside, we can see plenty of snow. Our dogs run through it, our kids play in it, and sometimes kids eat it. It's just harmless frozen water, right? Wrong. These white flakes were once at the top of our atmosphere, very close to the sun, and such. These flakes absorb high levels of radiation from the sun, and when they fall, this radiation does not go away. So when our kids consume snow, they're actually consuming radiation that could possibly lead to skin cancer later on in life. In fact, John McCain's sister's nephew's daughter's brother's husband suffered from this terrible account, causing him to lead the discussion on such a terrible disease. And while there have been no confirmed cases or scientific studies linking these two, we cannot argue this logic. Back to you, Brad.
Thanks, Dan.
Coming up, a conspiracy in Gucci advertising? More on that when we get back. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Beautiful Men Nightly News.
All of you Gucci lovers out there who are proud to purchase the 800 thread count suits or 100% cashmere socks, but are you really getting what you paid for? Colin Lee reports.
I'm here outside of the Gucci factory in Italy. After weeks of investigating, Beautiful Men Nightly News has uncovered a massive conspiracy created by Gucci. A Gucci employee, who we will call Mr. Boyer, revealed that Gucci has been cheating its customers on its thread counts for years. Suits advertised as having an 800 thread count really only have 599, like this one here. Mr. Boyer, however, also revealed that Gucci claims to have 100% cashmere socks, but these socks only contain 10%, and the rest is polyester to cheapen manufacturing costs. Back to you, Chris.
Thanks, Colin.
And for our final story of the night, harsh working condition at the Louis Vuitton factory. Working conditions do not meet governmental requirements. Dana Huang reporting.
I'm here at the Louis Vuitton factory undercover as a news anchor, seeking to expose the harsh working conditions. Follow me. you a worker here?
Yes, sir.
How long have you worked here?
24 hours straight. No food, no water, no breaks.
Why don't you just leave?
I can't. They have my family. My wife, my 2 kids, they won't let me leave until I make 300 suits.
You heard it here, folks. Louis Vuitton has enslaved the workers and blackmailed them to increase population. Back to you, Brad.
Thanks, Dan. That's all we have for you tonight here on Beautiful Men Nightly News. We hope you had an enjoyable New Year and holiday season, and we look forward to seeing you next time. As for now, I'm Brad Brown.
And I'm Chris Ellis. Keep it classy, San Diego.